Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bellingham Sportsplex for tonight's ACHA matchup between the Gonzaga Bulldogs and the Western Washington University Vikings. The second of two games this weekend between these two teams. The Vikings thoroughly dominated last night, winning 10-4, extending their winning streak to 7 games and improving to 9-1-0 on the season. The Vikings saw 8 different players get goals last night, including a hat trick from none other than junior forward Declan Quinn. The Vikings will be looking to do much the same here tonight as they get ready for the second of 4 games between the Bulldogs and themselves this season. It'll be a fishhook battle yet again tonight, as it'll be Jack Wildert for the Vikings going against Jack Loveland for the Bulldogs for the second night in a row. For the Vikings, goaltending has been a pivotal reason why they've found success early on in this season. To talk about that and more, we caught up with head coach Adam Seagar pregame, who had a lot to say about his team's successes early on in this season. Here's Adam.
Tried and they want excellent. They want to be excellent. That's it. And so like they're pushing themselves.
Talk about the play of your goaltending. Nolan's been 5-0. Jack is 3-1. What does good goaltending do for a team, especially in this league?
Goaltending, having your back end secured is a big ordeal. I would definitely say that it really gives those guys strength up front, the confidence that if no matter what happens, their goalie's going to stop it. They got it. I would have to say it's a combination of everybody who wants it. We all want it this year, and so from goalies all the way to forwards, guys that are on the bench, guys that are even scratched. Everybody's showing up to practice and they want it. So it's a big ordeal. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, we see the type of impact Andrew Fan makes on the score sheet, but what kind of impact does he make off the score sheet in the locker room?
So everybody kind of thinks like Andrew Fan's like the star of this team, and like that guy came in here. He didn't want to be the star of the team. He didn't want to be the star. He wanted to be a part of a team, and that attitude is it's spread to everyone. Like that guy has instilled put confidence in so many guys. As you can see, all the way all 4 lines are scoring, and then that's what he's brought. It much needed strength, and again, he's much more than everybody would say WHL unreal guy, and it's like he knows that, but the cool part about him is he cares about his teammates more, and that's what I love about him.
7. Always a lot to say, that Adam Seagar, as we get ready to drop the puck here for the second of 2 games between the Bulldogs and the Vikings this weekend. Starting for the Vikings up front will be Aaron James, Andrew Fan, and Brett Brumbaugh. On defense will be Cooper Hunter-Smith and Ethan Secord, and in goal will be number 40, Jack Wilder. Teams readying themselves for this grunge-filled evening. Lots of Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, some Alice in Chains, Chris Cornell. A lot of good music set to be played here tonight as the Vikings look for their 8th straight victory on the season. Teams getting ready to drop the puck at center ice, so away we go. Brett Brumbaugh set to take the draw. And we're underway. Vikings win the face-off early. Cooper Hunter-Smith, he tries to chip it into neutral ice. With Brett Brumbaugh, collected by Aaron James, gets it back to Hunter-Smith. Bulldogs pressuring right away. Colton Bowers out to Son out front, and he scores. Just 19 seconds into the game. It is 1-0 Gonzaga. Son was the player who had the first goal last night. He gets the first one here tonight. Face-off won by the Vikings all the way back into their own zone. The Vikings trailing 1-0 early, just like last night. Cough it up in their own zone. Colton Bowers tried to get another shot on goal. Back the other way. Here comes Van Bommel for the Bulldogs. It's back into the Viking zone. Patrick Pearson the other way for the Vikings. Here comes Pearson. Muscles it towards the goal. Loveland. Good pad stop there. Patrick Pearson had a good golden opportunity to get the Vikings on the scoreboard. Here's Jesse D, and he collects it in his own zone. Gets it to Nick Sawai. Sawai going to try to find Jacob James. Collected by Sawai, but we get a whistle for offsides. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. They play it back into the Viking zone. Secord with it for the Vikings. He's going to try to wheel his way across the Bulldogs' blue line. Here's Secord in on goal. A shot that goes high and wide. Golden opportunity there for Secord. Tied up and won by the Bulldogs. They get it back into neutral ice. Back there is Antonio Aurelio. He tried to chip it up to Declan Quinn, who had a hat trick last night. Secord to Quinn. Gets it to Sleddy out front. Shot that sails wide. And we're going to have a whistle. Looks like penalty upcoming on the Bulldogs. So the Vikings are going to go to the power play. It's going to be Martzoff who serves the minor for interference. Face-off won by the Bulldogs, but the Vikings get it right away. Here's Secord from the high point. Quick shot on goal and gloved by Loveland. Face-off won by the Vikings. Secord gets it to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh down low to Andrew Fan. Fan going to survey. Gets it to Secord at the high slot. Gets it down to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh over to James. Nearly had a tap in, and the Bulldogs are able to clear it all the way down. Good opportunity there for the Vikings to get on the board. And a turnover by Wilder. The Bulldogs get it right away. Fortunately, the Vikings are able to come out with it. Here's Brumbaugh. Turnover at the blue line. Vikings being a little sloppy this early in this power play. Got to be careful with the pucks here. Here's Secord across the blue line. Cuts in. Shot on goal, he scores! Ethan Secord. Ethan Secord, I believe his fourth goal of the season. Gets the Vikings on the board. It's back to a tie game. Clothier. Down there is Tyler Chapman battling with Patrick Pearson, and puck sails out of play. Good job by the Vikings to capitalize on the power play. Faceoff will be to the right of Loveland. Jacob James takes the draw, wins it to Tyler Chapman. Chapman tried a shot on goal. Here's Jacob James in the corner. Collected by the Bulldogs, hits a stanchion and over to Winnington for the Bulldogs. Just plays it back in towards the Vikings goal, collected by Deegan. Here's Jesse Deegan for the Vikings. Freshman from Bothell, Washington. Back the other way comes Colton Bowers. He steams in, quick shot on goal and gloved by Jack Wilder. Good eyes, seen all the way by number 40. Collected by Declan Quinn, gets it back into neutral ice. Here's Nicholas Sawai. Gonna go behind the net. Drop off to Jackson Wojcicki. He turns it over. Kyler Slutty over there to battle for it. And out with it comes Declan Quinn across the blue line. Quinn tries to find Secord out front, and Jack Loveland covers it up. Face-off tied up and won by the Vikings. Secord tried a shot, blocked out in front by Wojcicki. Puck up in the air. Body there from Deneen on Sawai. Here comes Declan Quinn. Creeps into the slot. Shot on goal. Secord with it. Waits, delays. Looking for an option. Shot on goal. Pad stop there from Loveland. Backhander by Quinn. Sails wide. Play back to Sawai at the point. Tried to get a point-to-point tip there by Deneen and back into neutral ice. Secord with it for the Vikings. 14:55 left in the first period. Here's Sun. He has the lone goal for the Bulldogs, as it is 1-1. Kyler Slutty out with it. Tries to get it out. Cannot. Bulldogs able to keep it in. Gotten over to Ethan Secord. Secord at the goal line. Tried to get it up to Kyler Slutty. Declan Quinn's just going to throw it the length of the ice for icing. That'll be a whistle. Face off to the left of Jack Wilder, won by the Vikings. Ethan Secord just plays it back into neutral ice. Van Bommel with it for the Bulldogs. Gets it over to McLaren Young, who chips it in on Wilder. Took an adventurous bounce, and he just covers it up. Face-off won by the Vikings. Hunter Smith with it for Western. Out there is Ethan Sandberg, Tristan Wojcicki, Tristan Anderson, and Ethan Sandberg, and Andre Shapiro. Here's Nagish with it. Breaks his stick on a dump, and oh, you hate to see that. You hate to see that for sure. Here's Ethan Sandberg the other way, trying to take advantage of the open ice given by Nagish. Tristan Anderson collects it down low. Tries to find Shapiro out front. Back the other way. Here comes Whittington for the Bulldogs. Collected by Sandberg. Hunter Smith with it. Across the blue line. Vikings doing good on their zone entries early on. Shot attempt from Hunter Smith, sails high and wide. Up with the puck is Gillick for the Bulldogs. Gets it over. Shot on goal, patted away by Wilder. Aurelio with it, and he tips it back into neutral ice. Clothier plays it back to Aurelio for the Vikings. Aurelio waits, tries to find Fan. Here's Brumbaugh out front. Almost had a clear opportunity there. Andrew Fan with it for the Vikings. The leading point getter in the ACHA entering this weekend. Had 31 points in 9 games prior to last night. Aaron James with it for the Vikings. Gets it up to Jesse Deegan. Shot from the point. Tipped wide. Collected by the Bulldogs. Here's Clothier. He gets it to... We don't have a number 34 on our roster, but number 34 for the Bulldogs. Carver Johnson goes to Jesse Deegan. Trying to find Brett Brumbaugh, trying to spring a pass there. Up with the puck is Sun. And he just chips it in. Here's Andrew Fan with it. Body there from Andrew. And Jesse Deegan. Brett Brumbaugh is able to play it into neutral ice. Brumbaugh with it again, evades a check there. And here he comes. Brumbaugh tries to find James out front, couldn't quite get the shot off. Two Bulldogs hit the ice as they collide with each other. A lot of funny moments happening early on in this one. 11-12 left to play in the first period. 1-1. Goal from Ethan Secord for the Vikings. Here's Colton Bowers. He just chipped it all the way back into the Viking zone. No icing on the play. Secord going to collect it. Tried to drop it off to somebody, and Deneen is able to collect it. He gets it up to Gifford. Gifford from the point. Shot that sails wide. Up with the puck is Secord. And Bowers turns it over. Nick Selway plays it all the way down. And that'll be whistled on icing. 10-20. Face-off won by the Vikings, but immediately collected by the Bulldogs. Vikings paddle for the puck. Here comes Patrick Pearson. Tried to go the other way with speed. The Vikings have it down in the Bulldogs' end. Here's Secord with it. Secord tried to play it to Jacob James. James bodies off an attacker. And the Bulldogs come out with it. Try to get it up to Nagish. Here's Secord. Plays it over to Hunter Smith. Smith resets behind the net. Tries to find Patrick Pearson in the neutral zone. Not a clean pass there. Hunter Smith able to keep it in, but not for long. Bulldogs come out with it. Martzoff just chips it in. 9:24 left in the first period. Shots 8-6 in favor of the Vikings. They had 49 shots on goal. Declan Quinn tried a shot out front. They have 49 shots on goal last night. Looking for more offense here tonight. I have a feeling this game will be a lot tighter than last night. but we shall see. Knutson gets it into the western zone. Everett with it for the Bulldogs. Creeps in. A shot that may have hit the post there. Back the other way. It comes. Clothier going to collect it. Knutson turned over there. Here's Kylie Sleddy. Clothier collects it. Declan Quinn with the shot. Blockered away by Loveland. And a big body there from Clothier on Kylie Sleddy battling with Declan Quinn. Clothier giving it to both guys, and we're going to have a penalty on the Vikings. I think it's going to be Declan Quinn. Honestly, both guys were not happy with how, or actually no, it'll be Clothier. They're going to get Clothier, okay, and Clothier and Quinn. So the Bulldogs are on a 5-on-3. Here's Colton Bowers. Shot that sails up and wide. So it's a 5-on-3. Declan Quinn got a minor. And Nick Salwai also got a minor. So it'll be 5-on-3 for the next minute 17. Gifford swings it around to Van Bommel at the point. Tried to get it to Sun. Sun creeps in. Good block there by Andrew Fan. Here's Colton Bowers. He creeps in. Out front. Here's Sun with it. Over to Van Bommel. Shot out front. Covered there by Wilder. Face off to the right of Wilder, won by the Bulldogs. They get it down into the corner. Gifford with a pass up to Colton Bowers. Bowers creeps in, and what do we have here? We're going to get a penalty on, I think, Gonzaga. They're going to get Gifford for the Bulldogs. So Gifford got the interference call there. The Bulldogs back the other way. It'll be 4-on-3 for the next 35 seconds. Here's Colton Bowers with it for the Bulldogs. Over to Van Bommel. Bowers. Looking for Sun. Sun with a shot from the right circle. Sailed up and wide. Bowers from the high slot, and Brett Brumbaugh clears it all the way down. 12 seconds left on Declan Quinn's minor. Here's Colton Bowers with it. Bowers. Try to get a pass to Deneen. Out of the box comes actually Tristan Anderson. So they must have given Declan Quinn a 2 and a 10. Anyway, face off to the left of Wilder after he covers. Four on four for the next 15. Here comes Ethan Secord the other way. He busts in. Secord looking for another. Tried to find Chapman out front. And the Bulldogs are able to clear it. Hunter Smith collects it for the Bulldogs. Out of the box. Or sorry, the Vikings. Out of the box is Nicholas Sawai. Ethan Secord, he's going to settle it. 43 seconds on this power play for the Vikings. An abbreviated power play. Here's Brett Brumbaugh, drop off pass to Fan. Brumbaugh out front. Couldn't quite get a clean shot off there. Nagish the other way for the Bulldogs. Tried to deke Ethan Secord, and back is Brumbaugh. Played by Andrew Fan. Fan. Here come the Vikings. Drop pass to Aaron James. James with the shot that sails high and wide. And 10 seconds left on the power play. One last rush opportunity here for the Vikings. Secord swings a pass up to Fan. Out of the box comes Gifford. So back to 5-on-5. Secord creeps in. Shot patted away by Loveland. Here's Fan with it behind the net. Try to find Hunter Smith out front. It's loose. And played away by Fan. Clean check there from Andrew Fan. Here's Aaron James trying to find Cooper Hunter Smith out front. Collected by the Bulldogs. Andrew Fan battling in the corner. Here's Aaron James. Couldn't quite collect it. Had a good opportunity there, but that's going to sail the length of the ice. That'll be icing. 4:09 left in the first period. Face off to the left of Jack Loveland. Here the Vikings. Patrick Pearson tried to get it to Jacob James there. Jesse Deegan, played by the Vikings. It'll be whistled on and off sides. Face-off won by the Vikings. They get it into the Bulldog zone. Battling down there is Jacob James and Tyler Chapman tied up down there. Trying to loosen it up. The Bulldogs get it out to neutral ice. Here's Jesse Deegan. And what do we have here? We're going to get a penalty on the Vikings. They're going to whistle Jacob James for a high stick. Vikings back to the PK. Here's Van Bommel with it for the Bulldogs. Gets it over to Sun. Tried a one-time opportunity there, fanned on it. Up with it is Andre Shapiro. Tried to play it into neutral ice. Couldn't quite stop on the puck there. Here's Colton Bowers. He creeps in, and Jackson Wojcicki able to get it out. Here comes Andre Shapiro trying to bust into the Bulldog zone. Get something to happen. Here's Van Bommel with it. Collects it. Goes for a skate himself. Van Bommel for the Bulldogs. Quick shot on goal. Headed away by Wilder. Stopped that with his head. Looks like a strap might be loose on his helmet. Sun plays it with a high stick. We get a whistle. 2:45 left in the first period. Face off won by the Bulldogs. They play it back into the Viking zone. Out there is Brett Brumbaugh. He collects it and tries to go for a skate himself. Here comes Brumbaugh. Shot on goal. And he scores! Brett Brumbaugh goes for a skate. Gets the Vikings the lead for the first time tonight. So Brett Brumbaugh, short-handed, gets the Vikings the lead with 2:20 left in the first period. Played out front to Gifford. The Bulldogs nearly get it back. Here's Ethan Secord into the zone. Looking for another short-handed goal. You don't see two short-handed goals on the same shift very often, so be cool to see something like that. Remember, I think it was the Boston Bruins. They had 3 shorthanded goals on one shift some 10 years ago. Collected by the Bulldogs. 12 seconds left on the PK for the Vikings. Colton Bowers with it for the Zags. Gets it up to Sun. He just chips it in. Out of the box comes Jacob James. And here comes Patrick Pearson. Springs a 2-on-1 opportunity here. Tyler Chapman. Chapman in. Shot on goal and hits the crossbar. Patrick Pearson with the shot on goal. Secord. 3 shots on goal. Golden opportunity for the Vikings to extend their lead. They cannot. 1:18 left. Yeah, advanced analytics probably say those shots probably should have gone in, but somehow it stays out. Jackson Wojcicki battling down there with Declan Quinn. Collected by Nagish for the Bulldogs. Nagish, he gets it over to Martzoff. With 1 minute left in the first, Jackson Wojcicki able to keep it in. Over to Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith battles a lot to keep it in. And Nagish able to get it out into neutral ice. Tries to drop it off to Martzoff, and we're going to get a penalty on the Vikings. Yet again, 33 seconds left in the first. Face-off won and played back all the way back into the Bulldog zone with 20 seconds left in this first period. Sun has a lone goal for the Bulldogs here this evening. Chips it into the Viking zone. Bowers gets it to the other corner to Gifford. Gifford back to Bowers behind the net. Surveying. Bowers up to Van Bommel. 1 second left on the clock, and that'll do it for the first period. So Vikings get 2 goals from Ethan Secord and Brett Brumbaugh. And that makes it 2-1 after 1 period. We'll be back shortly from Bellingham Sportsplex. Harrison Webster tries a quick pass out front to Jacob James, another newcomer for the Vikings here. And a shot on a goal! Jesse Deegan on that power play, his second goal of the season. The Vikings have struck first. It is 1-0. Tyler Chapman into the Eagles zone. Makes a move. Great shot on goal and score. Tyler Chapman. Makes it 2-1 Western. 2:25 left to play in the first period. Aaron James with it. Over to Andrew Fan. Fan in on goal and it scores. It trickles in. Andrew Fan. His 5th goal of the season. Makes it 3-1 Western. 1:50 left in the first period. Back to Brumbaugh. Deegan out front. All nearly had his 2nd goal of the game. Puck still loose out front. Over to James. He scores! Aaron James! So as Ethan Secord, he's going to play it up to Aaron James. Dump back into the Eastern zone, and that will do it. What a performance from the Vikings here tonight. 4-3 win. And here comes Tyler Chapman with it across the blue line. Chapman tries to power his way towards the net, and Declan Quinn! Here comes Tyler Chapman. He's got numbers if he hurries. 2-on-1 the other way. Shot on goal. He scores! Tyler Chapman. Secord. High shot and a goal! Ethan Secord. See the finished plays a little bit better. Face off to the right of the Eastern net. Tipped on goal and a score! Andrew Fan! Tyler Chapman with some pressure there. Pressured by Webster. Got out front to Chapman. He scores! Tyler Chapman! His 2nd goal of the game. Makes it 5-2 Western. 13:31 left in the 2nd period. Referee signals and Lusk is on its way. Lusk in on Wilder. Patted away by Wilder. Let's Lusk hear it. There. Secord was tripped up and not called. Dzirkis in on goal, and what a glove save from Wilder. Grade A opportunities, especially here in the 2nd period. Here's Dawson Bunch. He gets it up to Lusk. Lusk in the high slot, creeps in, tries to find Dzirkis. He does. Dzirkis with it. Quick shot, and it stays out. It stays out. It's no goal. The puck is on the goal line. What a stop from Jack Wilder. Face off to the right of the Eagles net. Aaron James out front. He scores! Aaron James! Tried a quick shot. Wraparound opportunity. Brumbaugh scores! Brett Brumbaugh! Puck's going to squirt all the way back into neutral ice. Here comes Tyler Chapman. Breakaway. In on Shashuvla. He scores! Tyler Chapman! And we're back for the second period of play between the Western Washington University Vikings and the Gonzaga University Bulldogs. The Vikings lead it 2-1 after the first period. A weird carom already for the Bulldogs. Goals from Ethan Secord and Brett Brumbaugh have the Vikings with the early lead. Quick shot from Sun, sails high and wide. Vikings on the PK to start this period. Here's Aaron James with it for the Vikings the other way. Tries to find Andrew Fan out front. Sails wide. Up with it is Deegan. He chips it into the Bulldog zone. Van Bommel gets it to Sun. Try to spring a pass to Deneen. Gets it over to Bowers. Bowers shot on goal. Glove by Wilder. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Clothier gets it back to Bowers. Bowers. 33 seconds left on the man advantage for the Bulldogs. Bowers is up to the high slot. Shot there. Andre Shapiro. Here comes Patrick Pearson into neutralize. Shapiro. Quick 2-on-1 opportunity. Shapiro shot on goal. Patted away by Loveland. Good opportunity there for Andre Shapiro to get a shorthanded goal. Vikings already have a shorthanded goal tonight, courtesy of Brett Brumbaugh late in the first period. Here's Carver Johnson. Try to get it back into neutralized. Sun with it. Chips it in deep. Carver Johnson. Try to get it off the wall. Collected by Bowers. He keeps it in. Tried a shot. Tailed wide left of the net. Back into neutral ice. Vikings are back on full strength. Here comes Patrick Pearson into the zone. He busts in. Shot on goal. Brett Brumbaugh loose in front. And unable to get it in was Brumbaugh and Pearson. Good stops there from Loveland. Here's Aurelio with it from the left circle. Shot on goal. It's loose out front. What action here. Here's Pearson. A shot that sails wide. Collected by Andrew Fan. Fan in the corner. Evades a check there. Gets it to Sawai. Sawai from the high slot. Gloved away by Loveland. Here's Sawai with it yet again. Shot on goal. Blocker there by Loveland. Good action. Here's Sawai and he collects it. Over to Brumbaugh and that's going to be whistled on offsides. Good action to start this period. Face off in neutral ice on the Vikings side. Here's Brett Brumbaugh across the blue line. Collected by Ryan Nelson. Over to Martzoff. He gets it in towards Wilder. Wilder drops it off to Aurelio. Martzoff tried to body Aurelio off the puck. Mains with it for the Bulldogs. Swings it around. All the way to Nelson. Nelson with the shot, fanned on it, but something that accidentally worked there. And Andrew Fan, here comes Aaron James, 3-on-1 opportunity. Fan over to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh from the slide, he scores! Brett Brumbaugh, his second goal of the game, and the Vikings have extended their lead to 3-1. Brett Brumbaugh, his 14th goal of the season, gets him the team lead. That's all the way down for icing. The Vikings extend their lead to 2. 16:37 in the second. Face-off won by Jacob James. Tyler Chapman out front, loose out front. Jacob James almost collected it yet again. We got a lot of action happening back into neutral ice. Here's Jesse Deegan. Good opportunity for the Vikings to extend their lead further. Here's Tyler Chapman. Chipped into the Bulldogs' end. Gifford over to Jacob James. A lot of battling happening down low. Here's Deegan with a shot over to James and Pearson, and we're going to get a penalty on Tyler Chapman. He's going to get an interference call. Vikings will go back to the PK. So the Bulldogs are on the power play. That's back into their zone. Tyler Chapman whistled for interference. Vikings are on the PK yet again. Felt like they were on the PK a lot in the first period. Here's Van Bommel with it for the Bulldogs. Behind the net. Over to Bowers. Bowers creeps in. Shot on goal. Hit the post there. Declan Quinn out with it. In the corner battling with Quinn is Clothier and Bowers. Captain for the Bulldogs. Jackson Wojcicki couldn't quite get it back into neutral ice. Over to Bowers in the slot. Shot on goal. Stopped by Wilder. The rebound. It's loose. Wilder. A little bit of an adventure getting back to his crease there. And Van Bommel with it from the left circle gets it over to Deneen. Deneen shot blocked there from Wojcicki. Bowers tried to find Sun out front. Puck sails back into neutral ice. Here comes Jackson Wojcicki. He's got space to work. Jackson Wojcicki tries to get a shot on goal. Couldn't quite collect it there. And back the other way comes Deneen for the Bulldogs. Deneen tries to cut in. Good stick there from Cooper Hunter-Smith. And Kyler Sleddy paddling a bunch of Bulldogs back into their zone. 20 seconds left on the PK for the Vikings. Here comes Sun with it for the Bulldogs. Across the blue line. Tried to dangle Nick Stallwide there. And Sun with it. Over to Neen. Out of the box comes Ethan Sandberg. He's going to join the play. Colton Bowers. Over to Slate. Slate battling with Bowers. Aurelio, and he's taken down. No call there. Sawai with it, and he's going to skate back the other way. Sandberg gets it up to Shapiro, and what do we have here? We're going to get a penalty on the Bulldogs. Face-off won by Andrew Fan, collected by Aaron James. James with it to Fan. Fan over to James, down to Secord, tried to find Hunter Smith out front. Aaron James, Fan, Secord, back to Fan. Over to Brumbaugh in the right circle. Fan, Secord from the high slot, tipped by Nelson, up and out of play. We get a whistle. Face-off won by the Vikings yet again. Here's Brumbaugh with it at the right circle. Gets it to Fan from the point. Fan over to James. Andrew Fan going to try to get it back into the Viking zone. Brumbaugh with it. Below the goal line. Over to James. James up to Secord. Back to James. Over to Andrew Fan. Fan to James from the right face-off dot. James. Stick handle, surveys, gets it over to Fan. Back to Secord, shot, and glove there by Loveland. Loose out front, James, he scores! Aaron James collects the loose change, and the Vikings have extended the lead to 4-1. So the Vikings extend their lead to 4-1. It's buffering on our stream here, so we apologize if we're not able to get a crisp quality video here. Here's Colton Bowers for the Bulldogs in the Viking zone. Van Bommel from the left point, shot seen all the way by Wilder. Face-off won by the Vikings, but tied up by Andre Shapiro down there battling with Jacob James. James and Shapiro out with it is Deneen. He creeps in, shot blockered away by Wilder. Here comes Van Bommel. Tries to evade a check there. Here's Bowers. And a tip from the goal line that found its way into Wilder's breadbasket. We get a whistle. Collected by Nick Solway back into the Bulldogs end. Here's Gifford with it for the Bulldogs. Gifford back to Clothier. It's Aurelio with it for the Vikings, but Everett's able to chip it back in to neutralize. Sawai collects it, gets it to Winnington. Sawai for the Vikings, up to Kyler Slate. Slate from the left circle, shot on goal, smothered by Loveland. Here's Nick Solway with it. Over to Andrew Fan along the Far ball gets it over to Aurelio from the right circle. Shot on goal, seen all the way by Loveland. We get another whistle. 10:27 left in the second period. 4-1. Vikings shots 27-12 in favor of the Vikings. Face-off won by Andrew Fan over to Aurelio. He gets it to Nick Selway, point to point. Back into the western end. Aurelio with it. Off the wall pass to himself. And what do we have here? We're going to get a penalty on the Bulldogs. So the Vikings will go to the power play. Face-off won by the Vikings. They get the power play here. Out there is Jacob James, Declan Quinn, Kyler Slete, Jesse Deegan, and Patrick Pearson. Deegan with a shot from the high point, or from the blue line, seen all the way by Loveland. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Nelson with it, gets it over to number 34. We do not have a number 34 on our roster, so unable to know who that is for the Bulldogs. A lot of missing nameplates for that team here this weekend. Here's Deegan with it, across the blue line. Shot that's headed out front. Here's Pearson with it, tries to kick it in, and it's going to be waved off. Looks like Pearson may have kicked it in to the net. They whistle no goal. So the face-off will be in neutral ice. The puck there kicked in by Patrick Pearson, so no goal on the play. Vikings with a 4-1 lead here halfway through the game, halfway through the second period, 9:17 left to play. Here's Andrew Fan with it, surveying. Fan creeps in, looking for something. Over to Secord. Secord back to James from the left circle. James going to rethink. Gets it over to Secord. Secord with a quick pass to Brumbaugh. Try to go short side for his third goal. Almost a natural hat trick there. Here's Secord. Shot from the high slot. Turned away by Loveland. And Sun with it for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. He gets it back into neutral ice. Here's Secord with it for the Vikings. Gets it over to Aaron James. James beneath the goal line, looks for help, gets it over to Fan. Andrew Fan creeps in from the right circle, shot blocked there by Loveland. He smothers it, and we get a whistle with 8:24 left in the second. Face-off won by Jacob James. Gifford with it for the Bulldogs. Collected yet again by James. Secord to James. James with the shot attempt that sails wide. And that's it for the power play for the Vikings. Patrick Pearson gets it to James. Back to Pearson. Back to James. Back to Pearson. Pearson to Secord from the right point. Shot on goal. Batted away by Loveland. Pearson with pass to Cooper Hunter-Smith. He shows it from the left point. Pearson passing to no man's land. Over there is Jacob James with the body. Physical play there from Slate and gets it over to Secord, over to Hunter-Smith. Hunter-Smith passed over. And again to no man's land. Jacob James along the far wall gets it over to Hunter-Smith. Back to James. Secord with it for the Vikings. Tried to pass that, couldn't quite connect. Bowers out with it. Here comes Sun. Shot blockered away by Wilder. Back the other way. Here's Colton Bowers with it, and that's going to be whistled on offsides. Out there is Andre Shapiro, Tristan Anderson, and Ethan Sandberg. Fourth line for the Vikings. Played all the way down for icing. Face off won by the Bulldogs. Nelson out front to Everett and seen all the way by Wilder. Stopped 13 of 14 this evening. Shot from Nelson, immediately off the draw, blockered away by Wilder. Out with it is Tristan Anderson, battling with Everett. Here's Carver Johnson. He tries to get it up to Shapiro. And Ethan Sandberg able to play it into neutral ice, battling with Nelson. Bulldogs keep on sides. Nelson over to Everett, shot on goal, and they get it in. Graham Everett for the Bulldogs makes it 4-2. Vikings with 6:18 left in the second. So Graham Everett gets the Bulldogs to within 2 with a little under halfway left in regulation. Here's Aaron James with it in the Bulldog zone. Aurelio with a big body there, but back the other way. Gillick almost had Nagish over there for what would have been a 2-on-1. Here's Andrew Fan. Down low to Deegan. Marks off with it for the Bulldogs. Battling with Deegan. Here's Aaron James with it. Springs up Andrew Fan. Aaron James, Andrew Fan, both from Eagle River, Alaska. Van Bommel into the Bulldog zone. Tipped out front. Almost found its way in. Andrew Fan gets it over to Aaron James. James in alone. And he's going to be slashed on that play. And what do we have? It's going to be a slashing minor. 5:18 left in the second. Vikings going to go to the power play. So they gave Aaron James, they're going to actually rule it as a penalty shot. Aaron James already with 1 goal here tonight. Here comes Aaron James with the penalty shot here. James creeps in, he shoots, and unable to get a clean shot off. Face-off won by the Vikings. Face-off still in their zone. Hunter Smith with the shot. Seen all the way by Loveland. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Declan Quinn with it. Trying to get it to Kyler Sleddy out front. Hunter Smith with it for the Vikings. Bulldogs play it all the way down into the Vikings' end. Secord gonna collect it for the Vikings. Go for a skate himself. Secord cutting in with his edge work. He shoots. He scores. End to end. Ethan Secord. It is 5-2 Western. Ethan Secord, his 2nd goal of the game. Doing what he does best. His end-to-end work is quite something to watch. Jacob James with a shot from the right circle. Blocked away by Loveland. Battling down there with Shapiro is James. Out with it. Pearson with a shot. Gloved away by Loveland, and that's all the way down into the Viking zone. That'll be whistled icing. We get a whistle with 4:12 left in the 2nd period. Shots 36-17 in favor of the Vikings.
Time of the goal, 4:43. Again, Vikings goal.
Swung over by Carver Johnson. Here's Jacob James, tried to find Pearson out front. Jacob James, drop pass to Shapiro. We're going to get a penalty on the Bulldogs. Face-off won by Andrew Fan to Secord. Secord. James back to Fan in the slot. Shot sails up and wide. Andrew Fan, he's the waffle man tonight. Everybody in the arena, if he scores twice, will get a free or a 50% off voucher for a one regular waffle at Sweetest Waffles. Thanks to our friends at Sweetest Waffles for setting that one up. Ethan Secord in the slot. Here's Nagish. He breaks in. Shot on goal. Sails up and wide. Bulldogs had a golden opportunity on the PK. Here comes Andrew Fan the other way. 3-on-2 opportunity. Fan over to James. Tried to find Fan out front. And Secord with it. Over to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh. At the right point. Tried to shot on Gillick. Hunter Smith delays. Gets it over to Secord. Secord down low to Andrew Fan. He creeps in. Hunter Smith, he scores! Cooper Hunter Smith. Cooper Hunter Smith, his 5th goal of the season, back into the zone already, the Vikings, and Everett collects it for the Zags. Back into the Viking zone. Aurelio with a body there. Big hit. Oh, down on the ice. Hit by Hewitt. Aurelio hit Hewitson for the Bulldogs. He is still on the ice. Take a quick break and we'll be back in a minute from Bellingham Sportsplex. So the faceoff will be in neutral ice. That was Tyler Hewitson who was on the ice for the Bulldogs. Slow to get up. Tyler Chapman back into the Viking zone. Blocked there by Nelson. Here's James with it. Chapman from the slot. Trying to make something happen. Chapman gets it. Trying to tip out front for Jacob James. Chapman doing a lot of puck work here at the end of this second period. 6-2 Vikings. And back the other way. Here comes Colton Bowers for the Bulldogs. Bowers tries to find Deneen. Good play there by Jesse Deegan to keep the puck from going to danger land. Deegan battling with Bowers. Bowers collecting in the corner. Deegan gets it to Deneen. Deneen. That's swung around to Gifford. James gets it up to Chapman, and here comes Chapman the other way. 2-on-2 opportunity. Chapman creeps in, shot, blocked there by Loveland. Good opportunity for the Vikings to extend their lead. Carver Johnson unable to play it, and it's back into neutral ice. Jesse Deegan with it for the Vikings. And that's all the way down for icing, or no icing on the play. Good play, good job there by Declan Quinn. Here's Kyler Sleddy. Tried to find Jackson Wojcicki. Sleddy trying to play it towards the net. And out with it is Sun. Good play there by Wojcicki. Sleddy over to Quinn. Quinn with the shot. Shouldered there by Loveland. And back the other way comes Sun. 4 seconds left in the period. Sun in. And that'll do it. Unable to get a shot on. So they're probably going to get Wojcicki for unsportsmanlike conduct at the end of this period. Jackson Wojcicki slashing the stick there. And at the end of the second period, it is 6-2 Vikings. Harrison Webster tries a quick pass out front to Jacob James, another newcomer for the Vikings here. And a shot at a goal! Jesse Deegan on that power play, his second goal of the season. The Vikings have struck first. It is 1-0. Tyler Chapman into the Eagles zone. Makes a move. Great shot on goal and a score. Tyler Chapman. Makes it 2-1 Western. 2:25 left to play in the first period. Aaron James with it. Over to Andrew Fan. Fan in on goal and it scores! It trickles in. Andrew Fan. His 5th goal of the season. Makes it 3-1 Western. 1:50 left in the first period. Back to Brumbaugh. Deegan out front. All nearly had his 2nd goal of the game. Puck still loose out front. Over to James. He scores! Aaron James! So as Ethan Secord, he's going to play it up to Aaron James. Dump back into the Eastern zone, and that will do it. What a performance from the Vikings here tonight. 4-3 win. And here comes Tyler Chapman with it across the blue line. Chapman tries to power his way towards the net, and Declan Quinn! Here comes Tyler Chapman. He's got numbers if he hurries. 2-on-1 the other way. Shot on goal. He scores! Tyler Chapman. Secord. High shot and a goal! Ethan Secord. See the finished plays a little bit better. Face off to the right of the Eastern net. Tipped on goal and a score! Andrew Fan! Tyler Chapman with some pressure there. Pressured by Webster. Got out front to Chapman. He scores! Tyler Chapman! His 2nd goal of the game. Makes it 5-2 Western. 13:31 left in the 2nd period. Referee signals and Lusk is on its way. Lusk in on Wilder. Patted away by Wilder. Let's Lusk hear it. There. Secord was tripped up and not called. Dzirkis in on goal, and what a glove save from Wilder. Grade A opportunities, especially here in the 2nd period. Here's Dawson Bunchy, gets it up to Lusk. Lusk in the high slot, creeps in, tries to find Dzirkis. He does. Dzirkis with it. Quick shot, and it stays out. It stays out. It's no goal. The puck is on the goal line. What a stop from Jack Wilder. Face off to the right of the Eagles net. Aaron James out front. He scores! Aaron James! Tried a quick shot. Wraparound opportunity. Brumbaugh scores! Brett Brumbaugh! Puck's going to squirt all the way back into neutral ice. Here comes Tyler Chapman. Breakaway. In on Shachuvula. He scores! Tyler Chapman! A little bit of a discussion after or to start this second period, but we are underway. Back with it is Aaron James. 6-2 Vikings. In between the leg pass by Andrew Fan, and it's covered up by Loveland. So the Vikings are on the PK. Jackson Wojcicki is in the box for the Vikings. Face off won by the Vikings, and Aaron James, he scores! Aaron James, his second goal of the game. Makes it 7-2 Vikings. Aaron James, his second goal of the game. Short-handed goal. Second short-handed goal we've seen from the Vikings here tonight. Ethan Secord out there right now had the other in the first period. James and Andrew Fan out there. Fan set to take the draw in the Gonzaga zone. Fan over to James out front, still loose in the crease and covered up by Loveland. We get a whistle. Still 1:24 left on the PK for the Vikings. It's very much a power kill right now. Andrew Fan and Aaron James out there with Secord and Hunter Smith. Secord from the high, and a shot and a goal by Andrew Fan, his first of the night. If he gets another, everyone gets 50% off. One waffle at Sweetest Waffles. Third short-handed goal for the Vikings. That says how you know things are just working right now. Andre Shapiro from the slot almost had a goal there. Shapiro with a wraparound. Feels like the Vikings are getting the bulk. It wasn't even a minute off the penalty to Wojcicki. Vikings got like 5 golden opportunities and cashed in on 2. Pearson around the net, tried to find Shapiro out front, and the Bulldogs collect it. The Vikings are 9-1 on the season, looking for their 7th straight win. Or sorry, their 8th straight win. Here comes Patrick Pearson. He busts in. Pearson in alone. He shoots, saved by Loveland, and out with it comes Gillick. Gillick the opposite way with Martzoff. He shoots. Pad stop there from Wilder. Secord up in the air. And Pearson, 13 seconds left on the minor to Wojcicki. Back the other way. Martzoff. And here comes Jesse Deegan. Out of the box is Wojcicki. Gillick turned over there. Here's Declan Quinn. He shoots. Stopped by Loveland. Rebound. Poked out. Quinn with a shot that sails wide. Martzoff with it for the Bulldogs. Try to pass in the skates of Gillick. Gillick gets it up to Nagish. Nagish, body there from Ethan Secord, loose out front. Vikings are going to get a penalty here. A shot and a save by Wilder. So the Vikings back on the PK, elbow to Ethan Secord. Face off won by Bowers. He wins it to Van Bommel. Bowers across the ice to Sun. Shot on goal. Sun. And Bowers. That's going to be touched up by James. This is going to be 5-on-3 for the next minute 44. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Van Bommel with it for Gonzaga. Bowers tried to find Deneen down beneath the goal line. Sun has a goal for the Bulldogs here tonight. Tried a one-time opportunity there. There's Bowers. Over to Nash. Bowers. From the right face-off dot and cleared all the way down by Aurelio. Minute 5 left in the PK for the 5-on-3 PK for the Vikings. Out there is Brett Brumbaugh with Antonio Aurelio and Aaron James. Bowers into the Viking zone in near the corner. Gets it to Deneen. Back to Bowers. Bowers over to Deneen from the left circle. And blocked by James all the way back into the Gonzaga zone. 35 seconds left on the penalty to Ethan Secord. Here comes Sun with it. Sun across the blue line. Try to dangle Aaron James there. Here comes Andrew Fan. 2-on-0 opportunity. Fan over to James. Back to Fan. He scores! Andrew Fan, the Waffle Man. Everybody gets a coupon to Sweetest Waffles tonight. Andrew Fan looking for more. Here comes Fan, busts into the zone. 2-on-0 on a 5-on-3. 4 shorthanded goals here tonight for the Vikings. Gifford tried to find Martzoff, and that's cleared to Ethan Secord. He springs in. Here comes Secord in alone. Shot saved by Loveland. Rebound out front. And Aaron James, that was a clear that just looks like it found Secord's stick. Tied up down there with Gifford is Pearson. And out of the box is Nick Solway. Back to 5-on-5. Not that it matters. 4 shorthanded goals tonight. And all the way down for icing. Face-off won by the Bulldogs and one all the way back into neutral ice. Clothier and Sawai plays it all the way down for another icing. Face off won by the Bulldogs. Clothier plays it behind the net. Here's Hunter Smith the other way. Hunter Smith. Shot on goal. Sails up and out of play. Looks like a Bulldog lost an edge there. Julian Salactica out there for the Vikings, getting some time here. Jacob James out front to Pearson. It's loose in the crease and covered up by Loveland. Face off won by James. Over to Salactica. Salactica with a shot tipped out front by Pearson. Here's Jacob James. Just going to play it down low. Try to find Chapman there. Out with it is Colton Bowers. Turned over. Jacob James with a shot. Sails wide. Salactica able to keep it in. Here's Chapman. Try to find James out front. Try to pass to Salactica, but out of his reach. Back into the Viking zone. So I tried to get it up to Patrick Pearson. Chapman. These two teams will meet in a few weeks' time in Spokane, Washington at Eagles Ice Arena. That'll be Friday, November 15th and Saturday, November 16th. Out front, hit the post there. Shot from Colton Bowers out on the backhand. Battling down there with Chapman. Wojcicki. Van Bommel. Van Bommel in. Shot. Hits up Sanchin. It's loose up high there. Jackson Wojcicki out with it. Van Bommel with a shot that sails wide yet again. So I tried to chip it up. Up to Wojcicki. Wojcicki gets it over to Chapman. And back into the Viking zone. Carver Johnson with it. Battling with Sun. Deegan. Tried to get it over to Declan Quinn. 3-on-2 opportunity for the Vikings. Slete. Pad stop. Rebound out front. Jesse Deegan. He scores. Jesse Deegan. Good shot pass there from Kyler Sleddy. It is 10-2. Jesse Deegan, his 6th goal of the season. Love the play we saw there from Kyler Sleddy. He just goes off the pad, knows Deegan's charging. All Deegan had to do was put it home. Here's Deegan again, up to Sleddy. Drop pass there to Jackson Wojcicki. Wojcicki tried to find somebody out front. Carver Johnson. Shot hit a skate there. Up to Nagish and battling with Jesse Deegan. Quinn plays it back into the Gonzaga zone. Deegan, he's just going to chip it in. 11:50 left in the third period. 10-2. The Vikings have put up double digits for the second straight night. They're actually the third straight game. They went to Idaho last Sunday, beat them 11-1. So 31 goals across 3 games for the Vikings. Chip back in to the Gonzaga zone. Clothier over to Ryan Nelson. He swings it around to Nagish. Nagish going to just play it through neutral ice, and that'll be all the way down for icing. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Nelson with it for Gonzaga. Ethan Sandberg and Andre Shapiro out there. Sandberg over to Shapiro. Shapiro gets it to Anderson out front. Anderson looking for his first goal. Sandberg over to Tristan Anderson. Anderson does have an assist to his name. Still looking for that goal. So is Ethan Sandberg. Would love to see it here tonight. Secord. Tristan Anderson. Anderson back to Secord. Shot for a pass there, or a pass, kind of a shot pass there. And Nagus the other way, 2-on-1 for the Bulldogs. Over to Maltsoff from the left circle. Shot that sails wide and bodied there by Aurelio. And slow to get up. It's another Bulldog. Face off in neutral ice, won by the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Nicholas Sawai gets it up to Brumbaugh. It's loose out front. Tried to find Jaron James there. Nick Sawai over to Brett Brumbaugh from the right circle. Brumbaugh drops it off to Fan from the face-off dot. Loose out front. It's still loose and frozen. Face off won by the Bulldogs. Andrew Fan out front to Brumbaugh. Smothered up by Loveland. Won by the Vikings. Hunter Smith with a shot. Try to get it to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh tried to go top shelf. Looking up to the heavens there. Nick Sawai with a shot that sails up and wide. Van Bommel. Up to Deneen. Kept in by Sawai. Here's Brett Brumbaugh looking for a hat trick here. Brumbaugh tried to find Hunter Smith. Back the other way comes Sun. He has the goal, a goal for the Bulldogs here tonight. He had 2 last night. Play back to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh kept by Sawai. Nick Sawai gets it up to Andrew Fan. Fan over to Aaron James. James across the blue line, tries to dangle a few defensemen there. Pass from Andrew Fan that sails through the defenseman all the way down into the Viking zone. 8:38 left in the third period. Shots are 61 to 22 in favor of the Vikings tonight. Battling with Tyler Chapman. Jacob James tried to pass it to Carver Johnson. Johnson down there. Bowers gets it up to Nagish. Nagish could have been in alone there, but sails out of his reach. Deegan with it for the Vikings. Tied up down there. Tyler Chapman joins the play along with Martsoff for the Bulldogs. And that's back in. Gillick couldn't quite collect it there. Vikings try to get back into the zone. Here's Chapman with it for the Vikings. Gets it to Jacob James. James over to Johnson. And that's back into neutral ice. Jesse Deegan for the Vikings. Deegan all the way down for icing. We get a whistle. Face off won by the Bulldogs. They get it back. Here's Carver Johnson. Swung over to Deegan, and Deegan plays it back. Nagish over to Gillick. Gillick back to Nagish. Gillick swings it behind the Vikings goal. Over there is Martzoff. Secord collects, and he's going to take it himself. Springs up. Declan Quinn here. Declan Quinn with a hat trick last night. Up to Secord. He shoots. He scores! Ethan Secord has the hat trick. Ethan Secord, his 6th goal of the season. Van Bommel back in for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Sticked away by Wilder. It's loose out front. Whittington and Secord going to go for another skate. Here's Secord. Does a little dipsy doodle. Gets it to Kyler Sleddy. And Van Bommel back the other way. So the Vikings well on their way to their 8th straight victory. Well on their way to their 10th win of the season. Big body there from Julian Zalactica. Love to see that. He's just setting the tone there. Big hit. Down there is Declan Quinn. Swung around by Young. Here's Secord with it in neutral ice. Gonna try to look for a 4th. Young. Hit there. Back the other way. Here comes Colton Bowers. Bowers gets it to Deneen. And Secord collects it. Gets it to Slete. Andre Shapiro. Shapiro out front. Seared away by Loveland. And what do we have here? That's going to be whistled dead on offsides. Face off won by the Vikings. Here's Sandberg into the zone. Shot on goal. And it's loose behind the net. Paddling down there is Shapiro and Tristan Anderson. Gifford down there with Tristan Anderson. 3 forwards battling for tied up puck right now. Still battling. Shapiro's just content to let it freeze. Here, out with it is Sandberg. And Deneen is back with it the other way for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Here comes Sun into the Viking zone. Quick shot on goal, and he scores. Chinyu Sun, his 4th goal this weekend, his 2nd goal tonight. It's all the way down into the Vikings end. Nick Sawai collects. Try to get it up to, looks like Aaron James there. Played out to Sun. Back the other way, here comes Andrew Fan. Fan with it. Fan, quick shot, patted away. And out with it is Deneen. Sun trying to call for a pass there. And back into the Bulldog zone. And the neutral ice collected by Deegan. The goal tonight. Over to Brumbaugh. Pass from Aaron James there. Try to get one more opportunity for this first line here tonight. Andrew Fan gets it to Secord. Secord shoots it and stopped by Loveland. So the Vikings are going to be on the PK for the remainder of this one. With a double minor to Tyler Chapman. Here's Bowers. Creeps in. Shot blocked there from Jesse Deegan. And it played into the corner. Here's Declan Quinn out to center ice. Here comes Quinn the other way. Declan Quinn in. Shoots on Loveland and a shoulder stop there from the Zags goaltender. Here comes Bowers the other way. Bowers. Good play there by Ethan Secord. That's back into the Bulldog zone. And what do we have here? So it looks like they face off won by the Vikings. It's 4-on-4 here. Carver Johnson in neutral ice to Kyler Slete. Clothier gotten up to 34 for the Zags, and Bowers with little over a minute left in the period in the game here this weekend. Vikings strong performance, 11-3, 3 straight games with double-digit goals.
Last minute to play in the third period.
1 minute left in this one here at Bellingham Sportsplex. The Vikings will be back on home ice next Friday, Halloween night, against the Idaho Vandals. Game will start at 7 o'clock. Hope to see you here, Bellingham Sportsplex, as the Vikings look to extend their winning streak even further. Here comes Jackson Wojcicki the other way. Wojcicki tried to find Slete out front. Carver Johnson. 8 straight victories for the Vikings. 4-0 on home ice. Also worth noting, they are 7-0 against teams from the Palouse this season. And that'll do it. So the Vikings with an 11-3 win. A hat trick from Ethan Secord, multiple goals from Brett Brumbaugh, and Andrew Fan getting everybody 50% off at Sweetest Waffles here tonight. That'll do it for us up here, up atop Bellingham Sportsplex. I'm Cameron Riggers, along with Barbara Vacante and Jackie Hopkins. We wish you a good evening.